Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for checking in once again. I'm here at the Pacific Ocean to sort of usher in the next stage of my journey. I first came out west 2 years ago, and when I saw the Pacific Ocean, I knew I wanted this to be my home. And I've been here trying to plant roots, trying to find stability, trying to make this my home. And it didn't quite turn out the way I intended, but it did turn out better than anything I could have imagined. I have evolved and grown so much in these 2 years, and I love the person that I am today so much. I love the person I was 2 years ago too, but he was sad and angry and scared and alone, and he didn't have a home. And it would be possible for me to walk away from this stage of my life feeling like I didn't find what I was looking for, like I didn't find that home that I came here to create. The truth is, I did find that home. I found it in my heart, and I found it on the earth. I found a love for being in the body. I found a love for being here on this earth that I've never experienced before. And I now know that every spot on this earth is my home, that the earth itself is my home. And that no matter where I go, I am loved and supported. No matter where I am, I can bring my home with me. And so, I'm here today to say goodbye to the Pacific Ocean. For now, I know I'll be here again, but for now, this is goodbye. I want to talk a little bit about the mind. The last video I did was about the heart, and I've been thinking about that video, and it felt very true, everything I was saying. It felt really good. And the heart is such an important navigation system, and we've lost touch with that in our society. And it's true that I was never taught how to use it, and in these past few years I've been learning again how to use my heart. And that experience of discovering my own feeling sense has been the most profound part of my awakening. But there is the mind. The mind exists for a reason. Intellect is also valuable. And it's possible that we've just been misusing it here in our culture. The reason I say we must follow the heart is because the mind gets caught on loops. The mind creates patterns and it convinces itself of certain truths that aren't necessarily true. I'll do another video about truth. That might be my next video. I've got some interesting perspectives on what that means, what that word means. But for now, let's just use it in a blanket sense. The mind convinces itself of certain truths that may not be true, right? And the heart is a guidance system. It connects us to our higher selves. It connects us to the part of ourselves that knows that which the mind cannot know and is not capable of knowing. So that's why I say always speak from the heart, always live heart first. But there's an opposite extreme. And I've met people on my journey who have forgotten the importance of the mind. And they've forgotten critical thinking, you know? I've got a confession to make. I recently explored something called the emotion code, right? I've been on this pursuit of healing, and I'm a pretty open-minded person. And so I'm pretty much willing to try anything. And I found this thing on YouTube where this guy was claiming to be able to use muscle testing and to be able to essentially read your subconscious from a distance and tell you what your subconscious is saying so that you can help yourself heal and all these things. And I was like, okay, great. I'll give it a try. He was offering free sessions, and I got my hopes up. I was like, hey man, this will be it. My experience has shown me that trauma is stored in the body. And I've been looking for techniques to release that trauma from the body. And this was one of the early techniques that I was exploring. And I won't get into the details of it, but let's just say it was kind of bullshit. It was kind of bullshit. It was pretty scammy. It was this weird pyramid scheme type thing. And it was just not genuine. You know, the guy was sort of a snake oil salesman. And I realized it. I realized it after the fact. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't think critically. And I think that's one of the things that the mind is for. The heart is for navigating and for discovering our own truth. But the mind is for many things, but it's for critical analysis. It's the heart and the mind do this dance. They're partaking in this dance where the heart opens and feels called, and the mind analyzes and says, "Oh, I'm not sure about that," or "Yes, let's do that." And that's valuable. That's so valuable. It's so important. It's so important to work with that dance, to embrace that dance, and recognize that there are extremes on either side, that the mind and the heart often step on each other's toes, and that at times the mind can take over and be a little too enthusiastic with the dance, and at times the heart can take over and be a little too enthusiastic. And each one comes with its own strengths and weaknesses. And that's why I say we need to connect with the heart, because in our culture, predominantly the mind is running the dance. And in order to get the two to dance together, we need to come back to the heart. It's about the balance. It's about the balance. If you've never heard of Heart Math Institute is one of the most important scientific institutes in the world right now. The research they're doing is particularly important to me and really inspires me. And I'll just let you do some Googling and watch some videos, but Heart Math, that institute, I can't remember the man who runs it, but he's got a great TED Talk. And in this TED Talk, he talks about what they call, I believe it's correspondence. Correspondence. That might not be the word they use, but let's go with it. Correspondence. And this has to do with the waves. Got some waves behind me, and got some waves inside me. The brain waves and the heart waves, right? That there's a state of consciousness, a state of being called correspondence, where these waves will actually link up. And it seems that this is what we call the flow state. This is what we call being fully present in the moment, is when the heart and the mind are dancing. When the waves of energy from the brain and the waves of energy from the heart are in sync with one another, flowing naturally. That's when we are at the fullest level of peace. That's when our parasympathetic nervous system activates. That's when we are able to be fully present in the moment and enter that flow state effortlessly. That's when we are, hope the wind, you can still hear this. That's when we are most in alignment with our higher selves. I'm a big fan of manifestation and these sorts of ideas. I've seen them played out many times in my life. The law of attraction is so real. And I believe in the power of prayer. I believe that's what prayer is. It's this process of manifesting. But prayer has mechanics to it. Prayer is not random. It's not as simple as just sitting next to your bed at night and talking to God. All that works. That's great. Not all prayers are equal, because there is a mechanical process to prayer, and it has to do with when we're in resonance with our higher selves, with Source. And I believe that correspondence, the syncing of the mind and the heart, is one sign that we are entering into vibrational alignment with who we really are. And when we are in vibrational alignment with who we really are, then our prayers are heard more clearly. That's just how I see it. So, with that, I pray that I can continue making content that inspires people, that I can continue to live in beautiful spaces, that I can continue to embrace the dance between my mind and my heart, that I can use every moment of this life to better understand myself, to better contribute to the world, and to grow further into the being I came here to be, the greatest version of myself that I can be. And right now, I am the greatest version of myself that I have ever been. And I pray that this next journey, that this next stage of my life opens me up to an even greater version of myself. That feels good. I'm going to go ahead and stop there. I could keep going all day. I love you. I appreciate you. Do a little dance today. Dance in your body. Dance with the earth. Dance with your mind. Dance with your heart. Dance with a loved one. Just play with everything in your reality. And you will flow like water downhill. And you will always find your way to the ocean. Much love.